Hey there, beautiful souls. I'm Colynn Hlokoff.
And I'm Meridee Hlokoff.
And welcome to Spiritual Sisters with Sass, the podcast where two sisters with a passion for spirituality and a touch of sass come together to explore the exciting world of self-improvement.
That's right, Colynn. We embarked on this incredible journey together, diving into different self-improvement techniques, yoga practices, and a whole array of life experiences.
Yeah, and through it all, we've managed to create lives that are abundant, happy, and constantly evolving. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it, Meridee?
You bet, sis. We've got two very different perspectives on life, but that's what makes this podcast so special. I'm all about diving in head first into life's adventures and embracing every challenge with a bit of sass. While Colynn here, she's got her own unique approach.
Yep, that's me. And I'm all about the yoga, mindfulness, and finding my zen. And together we make the perfect balance.
So whether you're looking for some wisdom, a few laughs, or just some heartfelt stories, you're in the right place. We're here to share our personal experiences and insights with you, all while exploring the wild and diverse world of self-improvement.
So grab your headphones and get ready for a fantastic journey with us. Spiritual Sisters with Sass is here to uplift, inspire, and keep it real.
Thanks for tuning in, lovely listeners. Let's dive in.
Spirit and sass. Here we go. All right, everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us on Spiritual Sisters with Sass. Today we have a special guest, Rafa.
Hello.
Most of you that listen to us already know a lot about him. He's used as an example quite a bit. And as I've shared quite openly, this is my partner, Rafa, and he has bipolar disorder. So we have invited him on in awareness of mental health. And, you know, we hear quite often like the word bipolar thrown around just like so easily, like, oh, I'm feeling so bipolar today, or like, oh, that thing was like so bipolar. It was so up and down. And it's like using that, so like throwing that term out there so easily can actually take away from the experience that people have when they have a disorder such as bipolar. So we thought we would bring some awareness. I also know that some people kind of get like blamed. Oh, well, they're bipolar. And then also they'll be written off because of that diagnosis. So we just wanted you to meet a real bipolar person, a real person with bipolar.
And see that he is a person.
An amazing person. So yes. Thanks for being on here with us, Rafa.
Welcome.
Thank you, Rafa.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. And I think we're going to call this one, Let's Talk Bipolar, because it's such a good fit. So okay. I'm going to start, Rafa, by asking you just a couple of quick questions that I'd love for you to answer. Can you share with us a bit about your journey with bipolar and how you were diagnosed, as well as what were some of the early signs and symptoms that you yourself noticed?
Well, I really never noticed anything because I was born with it. Like it's nothing that my brain developed, or it's not that I had like an accident and then I had it. No, I was just born straight up with it. So to me, that's day-to-day life. The only thing is it was like really tough growing up. I was like extremely violent. I would cry. I would just be extremely happy and, you know, think I'm the king of the world for moments. And just that roller coaster was just a normal thing for me. And, you know, I saw how it affected friendships and relationships, and even with my parents, you know, kind of I was like passed around as a kid because they couldn't like bear with me. It was just too much, right? And so it was, you know, a lot of ups and downs. I'm gonna just speed up that because it's a long, it's a long story. But I was diagnosed when I was 33. My mom, I reached out to her and asked her, you know, I said, I think I need help because something's wrong with me. And I was trying to drop years of alcoholism as well, and drug abuse. And, I just reached out, and my mom, when I needed her, she really reached out and helped. And that was, really good. And after like at least 7 doctors, we finally got one that diagnosed me correctly, and we started like the beta phase of just trying out different cocktails. And like on the 3rd run, I think we found what was good for me. And, it was just copious amounts of drugs for the first couple of years. Because what it is I have a chemical imbalance in my brain. And, that makes me just react differently to things. And I wear my feelings more on my sleeve than most people. And then I feel things really intensely. Some people be like, oh, you're overreacting, but no, that's just the way that I feel. I feel hard, that's just like we do. We feel really depressed, and we can feel really happy 5 minutes later, or an hour later, or a week later, a month later. It all depends on how what you're diagnosed with. I have both types, and I cycle very rapidly. So, but it's been under control for the medication I've taken through the years. So what I was saying is that at first it was a lot of medication that needed to be taken. I kind of felt like a zombie at first, and I even cried and stuff because I couldn't think straight. I felt dumb and stuff at some point, but the doctor just explained to me, he's like, we just have to do this for a while you start getting balanced and stuff. And then I saw the changes and stuff. Also, I had gained a lot of weight because of all the drug abuse, and it's just copious amounts of alcohol and bad dieting and all that together. And it's just a whole process that you have to do with the medication. It's not just the medication. That's why most bipolars just relapse into drugs or whatever, or they just stop taking their medication. Because if you just stay on the medication, not do all the other things that need to be, like, you need to have a routine, you need to exercise, you need to have things to keep your mind busy constantly, because our minds like race, man. They're like 1,000 miles a minute, and it just never stops. And that's why bipolars have a tough time sleeping. So any of you guys out there, take your medication, man. Get a good sleep, because that's really, really helped me. That's that's like #1 priority on my list, is get sleep. Because once if you start going in your cycles and you're not medicated, you're just going to stay awake, and it's not going to stop. I was up 3 weeks once. It was so bad, like ended up in the hospital and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much, a little bit on top of like a little bit of what the journey was. Childhood was really tough. Teenage years were even tougher. Just, by the time I was 12, I already had tried to kill myself once. So, and then there's been 3 suicide attempts in my life. So, and the thoughts never go away either. Like, it's a whole thing. It's really tough. Your sister said something to me a while back, that she feels like I'm balancing plates, like I have to keep spinning them so that they don't fall down, because of all the things I have to do to be normal, or live a normal life, have a relationship, and have a stable job and stuff. And by the way, guys, I've had a stable job for years. It's possible. um Also relationship. And I don't know, man. It's all about really wanting it, because if you don't want to, it's not going to happen. Like, if you don't want to get better, you're not going to get better. Like, everybody around you can tell you, oh man, you need to do this, this, and that. But at the end of the day, it's just, you have to want to. And like I said, it's a tough job. I have to do a lot of things every day just to get up in the morning and start my day. And then I have to deal with stuff that happens in the day, that I have to sometimes just take a breather, because I get an anxiety attack because stuff is overwhelming. And I've just learned how to cope with it and try to find ways. I've read, I don't know how many, like medical, what are these called? Just, I don't know, like medical papers on bipolar and different studies and stuff, and what's helped everybody. But like I told your sister the other day, it's different. We're all different. There's no bipolar that's exactly the same. So that's why it's so tough. First, it's tough to diagnose. Second of all, you don't know what kind of bipolar it could be. It's like like they said in Forrest Gump, dude, a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And it's just work, guys, you know, it's tough. And yeah, like what Colynn said earlier, I actually do take offense when people are like, oh, that's so bipolar. And oh, it's not, guys. It's not like just being sad and happy. It's a whole roller coaster of emotions. It constantly goes up and down, and you just have to do the work. That's all I have to say, pretty much.
So can you take us through like a day
What my day is
with
like.
bipolar? With fast, he has rapid cycling bipolar. So he doesn't often stay in, especially after taking treatment.
Yes.
Right. So he doesn't stay in either mania or depression. He kind of like cycles through them quite quickly. So sometimes that makes it on my grateful list. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
really
I've definitely noticed that as well.
cycling. But like take us through a day, like wake up. You know, I even said
Okay, I'll go through a
Okay.
bad day. Like
Okay.
I know it's gonna be a bad day because I probably had some shitty sleep, and pardon my French. And yeah, I just wake up and I just feel crappy, and I know it's gonna be a tough day, and I know because the intrusive thoughts that my mind messes with me. You know, it's like I hear voices. Don't think like I'm schizo or anything, but it's just little voices in your head, and there's some that are helping you and some that are not, and some that really just want you to die, pretty much. So this constant things that you hear in your head when it's a sorry, we're in the jungle, guys. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. A day in the life.
Okay, yeah. So I know it's gonna be a bad day. The voices already, as soon as I wake up, it's like, oh, you piece of shit. Oh, what the fuck? What do you want to live for? And I can just keep going for hours of the shit that's said to be by myself, you know, by my own brain. But that's like one part of being bipolar. This is a constant, yeah, battle with yourself. And
And then you don't want to eat.
I don't want to eat, I don't get hungry. I lose my appetite completely. And then I start
Is the appetite
getting
lost?
really depressed. I'm sorry?
Is the appetite lost from the anxiety that comes with it?
Yes, as well. Correct.
Okay. So
And
anxiety
my
plays a
anxiety doesn't
major
let me
role.
eat sometimes. Like I have to stop because I immediately get sick and I just can't eat anymore as much as I want to. So that's another thing. So yeah, having breakfast is tough. Or even Lynn's like, you want brekkie, babe? And I was like, no, I'm good. And I tell her I'm not feeling that good today. You know, it's just. And then it's just like the whole morning is a battle with yourself, trying not to go there, but it just happens anyway. It's, you know, it's like you're on a slide and you hit a part that was a little oily, so you went faster, and then it stops, and you're like, okay, cool, I can still climb out of this. And no, you're just gonna keep going down, and it's not gonna stop. So then you hit rock bottom, and rock bottom is depressed in the bed, just crying, bawling, thinking that you're a miserable piece of shit and that nobody loves you and that everybody leaves you, and just overall, like, yeah, you're, you know, why are you alive if everything's so fucking shitty? And your brain goes like, why do you even, you know, to the point where I've called my mother depressed and said, you know, why did you have me? I didn't ask to come here, and just pissed off at her because that's how depressed I am, you know? And then all of a sudden, half an hour later, the tears dry, and I'm like, fucking let's go, you know? I want to get on my motorcycle and go ride. I want to do something. I'm hyper as fuck. Yeah, you know how I get. It's like, just crazy all over the place. And then, you know, then I'll hit like a neutral zone where I know I'm still in it, but I might be able to paddle out of it, but maybe not. So like I said, the battle with yourself is a whole day thing, especially on the bad days. And then, you know, since I cycle fast, that's gonna go on like for about 5-6 hours, maybe tops 8, because like, you know, I have fail safes to go to, you know, exercises and stuff, or even sticking my face in the ice bath. That helps a lot.
That was going to be That
Like,
was going
wake
to be
up,
my
dude.
next question for you is what are some coping strategies that you have gained during this process that really help you that maybe other people can also use to help themselves?
First of all, don't try to ignore your head. Deal with it. Talk to it. Make concrete and intelligent facts come to light that it can't say otherwise, and it kind of goes away. So you have to outsmart yourself. That's one of the coping mechanisms. Second, the ice baths are great. Even if it's just your face, like I put my whole head under and hold it as long as I can, because really it's like a punch to the face, but a good punch. In the sense that like everything is just like rushed, and whatever unbalance is happening, kind of like the cold is like boom, set it straight again and we're good. So that helps a lot. Another exercise that some military friends that I have, guys, love you, they taught me box breathing. That's a Marine and Navy SEAL exercise to calm yourself in stressful situations. So it's kind of like 4 seconds in, you hold for 4 seconds, you blow out for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, and then you repeat. And that really, really just calms me down. That one is my go-to when anxiety hits. That's number one. I start box breathing. And it's tough sometimes, sometimes your sister has to coach me through it because I can't, like, I'm uncontrollably crying and I can't breathe. And then it goes into a panic attack almost. And so, that's just
And we know
how
that,
it
I mean,
goes.
like, there's three main, like, foundations to one's mental health, no matter
matter
no
who you are.
matter, right? Number one, you need to have good sleep. You have to have restful sleep. Number two, you have to eat well.
Yep.
And number three, you have to exercise. And when we first met, I mean, Rafa was exercising, but then quickly went into a depression, moving away from the city and coming into the rural. And so I was like, let's go. And he wouldn't get out of bed. And so it's like, it's like my experience has been, it's like being with someone who has emotions on steroids. So
True.
it's like, yeah, okay, you don't feel like getting out of bed, but get the fuck out of bed and let's go for a walk. But it's like, no, I don't want to. And then there's like anger, and then there's like sadness for anger, and then depression. And then it's like, and then from that, then I don't want to eat because I don't want to fucking get out of bed. And then I can't sleep because I'm overtired. So the experience has been like, once a spiral starts, we just try the best not to get into a spiral because the spirals are hard to get out of. So routines are like, they start there and he'll tell me, I'll feel it. I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping. And then we have to do something to try to like get out of that, because psychosis comes if he's not doing those things.
I find it really interesting. So my question for you, Lynn, would come to, because you're like, I almost said it in a rude way, and I don't want to mean it in a rude way, but you're not like this soft, sweet, oh, it's okay. And we're not coddlers. We're get shit done people. And what kind of challenges does that present for you, having someone who's like, I don't want to, when really what he means when he says I don't want to get up is I can't. And there's no option for me in this. I know for my personality, I would immediately want to head down the road of just shut the fuck up and do it anyways. But the reality of that for him is that it literally means he cannot. He cannot make his body get out of bed. He's not just going to roll over and jump up. So what has that experience been like for you, and what has it taught you?
That's a good fucking question, because I was like that when we met. Like, he consistently will say one thing about me, like a descriptive word is that I'm militant. I'm very militant about like exercise and eating and all of these things. And I think that that's because I've been able to get here because of those practices. So when I met him, it's like, just like, get over it and let's go. And then that just like spirals things worse.
That triggers
Faster.
me.
Yeah.
That triggers me.
Yeah.
That because I would tell her, I was like, you don't understand. It's not that I don't want to. I can't get out of bed. My brain doesn't let me get out of bed. She's like, just tell it that you're gonna get out of bed and get out of bed, the first times. And I was like, I really wish I could fucking do that, but it's not that simple. It's just not that simple.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's more of a meeting in the middle because, you know, sometimes he can.
Yeah, sometimes I can talk myself
With
out
the
of
Right?
right type of
stuff if I'm
support.
not too deep down the rabbit hole.
Yes. And so then now instead of, first of all, I just can't take things personally because that feels pretty easy. Like this is all about me. And I would say that's like the
Yeah.
most like almost like narcissistic thing that I can do is like make everything about me. So it's been about like coping mechanisms for myself. So first and foremost, I need to take care of me in order to support him in taking care of himself. So if he can't get out of bed and exercise, I still need to get out of bed and exercise. This is something that we found out in the beginning because then I just wouldn't. And then I start feeling like shit, and then we feed off of each other's shit. So that's, and then no one's doing anything, and everybody's fat and unhappy and like eating chips, right? So that wasn't helpful. So it's been like, it's really meeting in the middle. Like if he didn't meet me in the middle, we wouldn't be here right now.
You know,
Like fully, but also like I had to chill the fuck out because I like am really good at compartmentalizing my emotions, which is I think part of being with Rafa. As much as you might love it, it's been supporting me in opening up to my emotions, which is hard. So when I feel emotions, and then I think about Rafa feeling emotions 100 times more than that, I can feel a little bit more empathetic to the
Mhm.
situation and find kindness and compassion. And when I found that, calling you honestly through a lot of that, it was it was like I wasn't demanding anymore and I was taking care of me. And then it was like he wanted to take care of him so that we could take care of each other. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah, it
that's
does.
how it that's
And
how it
that
works.
then leads me also, Rafa, do you find, and I'm asking this question with the knowledge of the answer because I've been here, do you find that being bipolar makes you more of an empath? Makes you more susceptible to the people around you and the way that they're acting and the feelings that they're having? You've been here. I just went through some stuff with my daughter. What's your experience of that?
My experience is like I'm very I don't like strangers and stuff. So like with anybody that's not close to me, no, that's not a thing. But with the people around me, definitely. Definitely. And I will feel their pain because I've felt all kinds of pain, physical, mental, and just overall, even spiritual, man. So yeah, no, definitely. Like I know like I knew how you were feeling. That's why I went straight
Yeah.
up to like support you, and so did your sister.
And such a
And
great support.
that's
Such a great
just,
support. And then when he was really struggling with my shit, because it was heavy, it was fucking heavy. And when he was struggling with it, he got on his bike. Like he knows how to take care of himself. And
oh
he got
yeah,
on
the
his bike and
motorcycle
he
is
left.
And it was skateboarding before
it was
that.
skateboarding, and unfortunately there's not any skate parks in the jungle, so I'll build one eventually, but not right now. But I do have my motorcycle, and I love motorcycles. As you guys can see, I have a tattoo.
Rap, rap.
I love them. I've been riding them forever, so that really helps me. Like, yeah, I kind of like took on some Meridee stuff, and I just felt like I needed to let it go. So I just, went fast down dirt roads and back up, and everything was fine after that.
Part of
Yeah,
the
I would
quick cycle.
I would say if we're like if I'm in a bad mood for too long, like he's going to be in a bad mood soon. And sometimes I need to pull myself out of it because I know
That's kind
that
of a great thing as well. In the sense that like you can't sit in your shit and pout. You have to get, I don't mean him taking it on. I mean you needing to
right.
pull yourself out of that mood because now, I mean, we could sit in victimhood for a long time. Sometimes I can sit in it for a while. Sitting in my feelings and sitting in victim are a little different. But being in that bad mood, typically we're kind of in victim, and to have to pull myself out quicker than maybe I even want to. Okay, so on to another question.
Okay.
How important is having your support system? How important is Lynn and the rest of your family in how it plays out?
Essential. Like Lynn just added on to like making my life easy. because she knows me. We've gotten to know ourselves, and we just get along. I say 99% of the time. And she's easygoing. I'm pretty easygoing. Sometimes our difficult decision of the day is what we're gonna eat. That's the most difficult decision in life. So we live very peaceful out here and everything. So that's really cool. And this is moving from the city here has dropped my anxiety way down. I'd say at least 70%. And even when we go to the city to do stuff quick, I'm like, let's get back. Let's get back home. And yeah, just having Lane and my family, like, even though they're 2 hours away from me, I know I just call and I say, I need you guys, and they will come and be with me and whatever I need. So the system, the just is very, very, very important, and to have the right people in it too, because there's people that can be part of your whole system and could be your frenemy or something like that, man, and they're really not there to help. So I'm trying to trigger you actually. So gotta watch out for those too.
This has been, I went away in September for a month. We were quite fresh, and he was just here in the jungle. I mean, he was going down to Hako to work, so there was that, but it wasn't like the best influence down there.
Oh, yeah.
So then, I mean, I come home, he's put on a bunch of weight. He's like clearly unhappy. Like he didn't take care of himself. Whereas this time I went away for a month in May. We had all of the support systems in place. We cleaned the house, we did the yard, like all the major things were done, knowing they need to be upkept, knowing that he needs to exercise. Just because I'm not around doesn't mean don't take care of yourself. Means he needs to eat, and he needs to eat well. Like he knows all of these things. We've worked on all of these things. And then he involved his family. So he didn't just stay here in the jungle by himself where he would likely spiral out. He had his family come and stay with him several times. He went and stayed with them. And it was just like a lot more active in staying healthy this time than the last time, which was, yeah. And he went out for walks without me, and he's made friends in the town, more friends than I have in this town. And
It's an advantage to speak Spanish. So
Yeah, definitely.
no, and then it's
Definitely.
just like everybody rides motorcycles here, so everybody wants to be your friend. They want you to go ride motorcycles with them. So
That's kind of perfect for you.
yep. Who would have known?
So another question that I have for you is, what about any misconceptions that people have about bipolar that you would like to give your personal experience and opinion on?
Okay. Well, first of all, that thing that people just think it's happy and sad, that's a lie. That's not it. If it were just that, it'd be very simple. You go through every phase of being sad and angry at the same time. So it's not that simple. That's a big misconception right there. And then the misconception that we can control completely what we do sometimes it's really out of our hands, guys. We can't help it. Sometimes I wanted to stop myself and I can't. I just can't. That's a thing too. People are just like, oh, or this one's is my favorite. People that just tell you, oh, why aren't you just happy? My mother being the #1 example of that. Growing up bipolar, every morning she's like, why aren't you happy? Just wake up happy like me. I was like, oh, I wish I could do that, mother. I wish I could. Just let me turn the happy switch on. Yeah, there's no happy switch, guys. Not for anybody, not for normal people, bipolar, anything you have, there's no happy switch. You gotta make it work to be to make that happy switch be available. And sometimes it doesn't work either. So that, and what else can I say? Just people like in relationship wise, there's this big misconception that we are not to be trusted, or that we're going to be violent or the worst couple ever, And I think I've shown you that a bipolar man can be very loving and have values and morals, and just try to take care of himself. And like you always told me, like, as long as you try, I'm here and I'll keep trying. So I'm always trying to better myself and stuff. So, you know, it's just a constant battle.
I
Yeah,
don't think I have
that's pretty
ever.
much it. That what people think, and it's not right. And yeah, like I said, the relationship that people just toss out like, oh, you're bipolar. No, no, thank you. Get away from me. You know, that, or you know, even there's I've had the misconception of people think because I'm bipolar, I'm not smart and I can't have a job. Where I think you guys know that I'm a pretty intelligent person. So um that like I've had that a lot, and that just came to me and it actually hurt a little bit. So
Yeah,
um
I would think
yeah,
so.
I'm not stupid because I can't control my emotions. I like the doctor explained to me very well because I'm like, what does it mean? What does a chemical imbalance mean? And he told me, he's like, imagine you're a car and all your wiring that's supposed to have that nice covering for it doesn't have it. So all your wires have no covering and you have little electric shocks constantly going that make your brain go like that. So, you know, that's just I don't even know what I was about to like
I
finish
think
No,
that.
I
that
think that was
Sorry, I
great.
lost my train of thought, guys.
No, it's
I
all good.
think
I
that
think that was
there's
really great.
also like a lot of misconceptions. Like I spent 17 years in Emerge, right? And a huge part of that was working with the psych ER. And so one of the things that we get is we get people in psychoses. So we'll hear this word psychotic thrown out quite often. And you yourself have been in psychoses several times. Not with me. I mean, almost one time we were really sick and he couldn't sleep and he was like, shit, like the voices are getting pretty loud. Things are getting fucked up. Like I need to sleep. We were doubling up on medication. We were getting a little bit fucking worried because I was a little worried shit's going awry, but he managed to kind of like pull it together. Um, but there's like there's different types of bipolar, right? We have bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, and then we have schizoaffective. So he said, I'm not schizo, which is also like it's okay to be schizophrenic as well.
No, I mean because people hear, oh, I hear voices, they're like, he's
That's
fucking
it.
schizophrenic.
And I mean,
He's crazy, dude, you know?
it's hard to find like what your diagnosis is because possibly he could have schizoaffective if he has a voice that's talking to him on a regular basis and sees things, which is often part of schizophrenia and bipolar mixed together.
That's happened to me when psychosis at its peak. Like I start seeing stuff and it's oof.
And that's what happens when one gets into like a manic episode where they're not sleeping for 3 weeks and then they think that
You know,
they're fucking in the army or they've got all the money in the world and then just go out and do things that are very reckless. So psychosis is something that can happen, but it's not how people live. It's just what happens sometimes when the medication stops working or if, like I said, like if he's not sleeping well and he's not eating well and he's not exercising, that doesn't keep him super healthy. It just like creates a platform that's a little more stable. So if we lose that platform and then he is spiraling down, if that keeps happening, then he can fall into psychoses. And then that kind of shit can happen where he thinks he's whatever and then is lost. Like I have been there when people I remember one woman was giving birth to every abortion in the world, and for 3 straight days, she just gave birth to nothing. I mean, she was screaming. She was, it was, you could tell this was not just like made up. Like to go in that room and see her.
no, your brain makes it real. It's a reality that like that's why sometimes, you know, when I'm on that edge, I'm like, is this real? Is this happening? Because I don't know sometimes.
Because sometimes he asks me.
Because yeah, my brain's fucked with me that way, especially, you know, when I'm doing bad. It's just sometimes you don't know it's if it's actually happening or not, or if it's just your brain messing with you.
And that's why it can be so easy to fall into drug and alcohol addiction
Oh, yeah.
because it creates like it feels like stability.
It doesn't let you go there.
Right.
It just keeps you numb. So yeah, that's why the drug abuse and alcohol abuse was
But then that's
a
when
part of
shit
my life since I
really
was
goes
really young.
crazy.
Oh yeah. That's for another episode, kids.
Oh man. What advice would you give to someone who has recently been diagnosed with bipolar?
Trust your doctor. Take your medication and stay strong. Have a support system. Find people that love you and will be there for you no matter what. Bipolars were pretty, like, you know, insanely loyal too. So, you know, find people that are like you, dude. As loyal as you are, those are the people that you need in your support system. And yeah, just do the work. It's hard. It's going to be tough at the beginning, but you just got to just keep your head above the water. It'll be fine. Trust me. Now I swim. It wasn't like that at the beginning, but
You wanted to quit because the drugs made you feel
stupid.
right.
Yeah, I couldn't think. I'm pretty good at math, and it's always been like my thing, math. That's why I have a I. Yeah, there you go. And while I was on the heavy drugs in the first years of treatment, I couldn't even add 2 + 2. So guys can imagine my frustration with that, and that even put me even further down the hole in wanting to kill myself. But you know, just talking with my doctor, and then with that, he gave me some other medicine that were some mood regulators, and just, you know, just take the treatment your doctor tells you, find the cocktail you need and stick with it. That's the best advice I can give.
Okay. I appreciate all of that. Just from my experience of you, I've known you for a year. We've texted, we've video chatted, and then I actually finally got to meet you, and I'm so excited because you guys this week, Lynn and Rafa are getting married. And so one of the things that I just want to throw out there is that, first of all, I have not liked a single boyfriend that my sister has had. Not a boyfriend, not a husband, not a single one. And right off the bat, I loved Rafa. Second, I don't think I have ever told my sister how happy for her I am as I am with this relationship for her. Regardless of his ups or downs. And I have seen a few. I've seen a few of his experiences. Regardless of those, the way that they have come together to manage those things, as well as he's got her back and she's got his. And together they make this like little power couple. And when when Lynn sent me the first picture ever, I was like, you guys are the perfectly odd couple. And she's like, what the fuck does that even mean? And I was like, you guys are so covered in tattoos. Neither of you, like, he's got tattoos all over the side of his head. She didn't at that point, but she had the funky hair, and you know, we just get looked at. And so she sent me the picture and I was like, oh my God, you guys are like the perfect couple. And then to be here and experience it, they really inspired me on my own love journey of your match is out there and it is work. There's the things that are easy are probably not going to be worth it.
Exactly.
And love is not this easy breezy romance novel or movie that you've watched. It is challenging. It is worth it.
Absolutely.
And when I see you guys together, I see how you guys maneuver things together and how you just kind of made it so that your life is just like little fish swimming together in this pond. And I am so happy for you because I have never seen this in your life before. And I don't know that you've ever been supported in your life before. And Rafa has this amazing, like, yeah, he needs to be supported, but dude, he's supporting her. And I've never seen my sister supported. We've always been the ones, you know, we get out, we hustle, we make all the money, you know, like you can be the stay-at-home husband more or less is like the place that you've gone. And now she has this guy who's like, stop stressing about things. Let me take care of you. And it just makes me super happy for you both. And I love the way that they come together to support each other. So I encourage you guys, if you have questions for Rafa, feel free to comment below. Feel free to send us a message, spiritualsisterswithsass@gmail.com, and we'll happily answer those and send you guys a response if you're struggling with it, any of those things. Is there anything else that you guys want to add?
No, thank you very much for
Oh, they got the cute.
kind
See, they're
words.
just looking at each other with this like ridiculously cute smile. No, we're good. Okay, so thank you guys all for joining us today. I
Thanks,
hope you
guys.
take this information and truly understand that this isn't just a choice. It's not something that he's like, hey, today I want to kill myself. It just sounds like fun. He doesn't have a choice in the feelings he has. He has to find a way to roll with it. And he literally is like in a tube floating down a river instead of swimming upstream right now. So I hope you guys learned something, and I hope that you'll join us next week. Thank you, Rafa.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us on this spirited journey today.
We hope you enjoyed diving into the world of self-improvement with us. Two sisters who found their own unique paths.
Remember, life is a tapestry of experiences, and it's how we embrace them that makes all the difference.
So whether you're on your yoga mat, exploring mindfulness, or simply navigating life's twists and turns, always keep that spirit and sass alive.
We are Colynn and Meridee Hlokoff, and we're here to remind you that happiness and abundance are within reach.
Stay connected with us on social media and keep those questions and stories coming. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, beautiful souls, keep doing the work, keep sharing your experiences, and keep living a life that's authentically you.
And never forget to add a little extra sass to your day.
Spirit and sass, always.